Hey guys, can everyone see and hear me okay? We are now live on dressyourfacelive.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have had this request for the longest time on how to do a full professional looking makeover using just drugstore products. So I went ahead and I did a lot of research on drugstore products, newer ones that have come out since I've been using the professional stuff. And of course I have my longtime favorites that I've been using for a long time, of products that I really like, and I definitely recommend for those of you who are makeup lovers or makeup artists on a budget. So we have our lovely model here. She went ahead and answered a casting call from Instagram and Snapchat. So everyone say hello to Brittany. And I went ahead and I put her Instagram name on my Snapchat so you guys can show her some love and give her a follow. If you guys have any questions throughout this class, this is where you need to ask them. I'm gonna go ahead and show you which post that is. That is my latest Instagram post, the one that says NYX on it with my face right there in the window. That's the post. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through all these questions so that you can get your answers at the end of class. So go ahead and write them down there so I can answer live. So again, like I said, this is a drugstore makeup tutorial. Before I actually get started on her makeup, I wanna go over certain brands that I really love, and especially lately, after taking a couple trips to Walgreens and CVS and Target, and looking at some of the other brands that I may have not tried and testing them out, I found some other items that I thought were really cool. So let me go ahead and show you what they are. For foundation, I really loved, and this is some stuff that I've loved for years and years. A good friend of mine who is also a makeup artist, she told me about this when I was living in the Bay Area a gazillion years ago. And it is the Revlon Color Stay 24-hour wear. This is incredible. It's full coverage, it's long lasting, and it's a drugstore brand. It's about $15 and it's constantly on sale. So I got mine buy one, get one half off. So I got two so I can mix it for her or use one. I think I'm just gonna use one of them. I just tried it right before class and it worked out really well for her. So one formula is for normal to dry skin, which is the one we're gonna use on her because she has normal to dry skin. And then the other one is for combination to oily skin. So you do have a choice as to which formulation better suits your skin needs. So that's one thing that's awesome about the Revlon Color Stay Foundation. So that's the foundation I'm gonna use on her. As far as like the concealers and the contour stuff and the primers, let me show you those now. For the primers, I really love NYX. I've been using NYX for several years now and they are so affordable, it's insane. So these are the two primers that I carry in my kit. Angel Veil from NYX is pretty much for all skin types. It's really amazing. It's super smooth. And then this one's called Pore Filler. You guys know that I love the Benefit Porefessional. This is the dupe for that. So it's very similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar and it'll do a lot of the same things for you as far as filling your pores and making your skin look smoother before makeup use. So those are the two that I would recommend in your kit. And for the eyeshadow base, that one is also NYX. It's called NYX Proof It. It's pretty awesome. I'll show you how to use this once we get to the eyes. And for the concealers and contour and highlight, I had to go with LA Girl Cosmetics. LA Girl Pro Conceal is what I use for highlighting and contouring and all that stuff, but these can easily be used for concealers as well. They're very amazing and super affordable, just a couple bucks. And then we also have the LA Girl Velvet Bronze Contour Stick and the highlight sticks. And it's pretty cool how easy it is to draw on the face with these and how easy it is to blend as long as you don't let them sit on your skin for too long. These are a little bit easier to blend. This one will dry a little quicker because this is a dupe for the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. It does dry quicker and it is really heavy, so you want to make sure you're blending it out pretty quickly. The other cool thing about the LA Girl Pro Conceals, I'm gonna show you right now. They come in like, I think 30 colors, maybe more, if I'm not mistaken. These are the ones I brought with me today. And as you can see, there's a green to cancel redness, there's a yellow, and there's an orange. And the orange is what I use to cancel dark circles. So it's pretty cool that they have not only concealer colors, contour and highlight colors, they also have corrective concealers, which are very important to have when you're dealing with different pigmentation issues or redness. And it's very important to have these in your kit if you're a makeup artist. So those are the face things that I have with me today. A lot of you have asked what's a dupe for like the HD loose powder from Makeup Forever or Laura Mercier's loose translucent powder. I'm not a fan of loose powder in general. I'm just not a fan. But if you had to find a dupe, the closest one to it would be the HD Studio by NYX. This one is actually, you can bake with it and buff it out, or you could just use a very fluffy brush and give a nice light sweep of powder to set your makeup. And it's really, really refined, very finely milled. So that's why it is okay for HD use. So that's that one. And as far as contour kits, the best one in the drugstore world is NYX. So as you can see, several of the items today are NYX, only because I feel that, and this is a fact, NYX is an artistry brand. NYX carries things for every single person, for every single color and every single skin type, for makeup artists and makeup lovers. So if you're looking for palettes of multi-use purpose, or if you're looking for color correcting or priming and certain things, if you're looking for even ombre lip products and anything that's trendy and happening right now, NYX definitely has you covered. They have thousands of items formulated for each individual person, whereas a lot of other brands out there only carry a certain amount of products at a time. So it's pretty cool that NYX is so versatile. And as you can see, I have used the crap out of this one. So we just got to give it a little wipe down. And so this is what I'll be using on her, the lighter colors for the highlight setting and the darker ones for the contour setting. And I have a couple of eyeshadow palettes that I want to show you. This is the LA Girl Nude eyeshadow palette. This is very, very similar to the Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes, so the Naked palette. So it's pretty amazing and for literally a fraction of the cost. And then I have this NYX Full Throttle palette right here, which is super, super creamy, amazing pigment, and it will really bring out our model's blue in her eyes because of that beautiful gold right there. So definitely want to use this on her today. And for those of you who are looking for really cheap eyeshadow palettes that may or may not be in drugstores, like this is not in drugstores, but it's super, super inexpensive. It's like 13 bucks, BH Cosmetics. You can get that online. And look at everything it comes with. It has highlighters and it has all these eyeshadows, which I have been using for the past several months on DYFL. You guys now know that this is probably my #1 most used palette aside from my own palette with Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is like no longer being made anyway. It was a limited edition. So this is the one that you need to get your hands on BH Cosmetics. So again, this is not drugstore, but it's at that level as far as price range. It is unbeatable. It's 13 bucks for the whole thing. So those are it for the palettes. As far as blushes, there are so many blush palettes out there, but if you're into single blushes and shimmer blushes, I really like the Milani Cosmetics Baked Blush. They are absolutely stunning. So I brought a few with me today to play around with her. And they're just, oh my God, they look so dreamy on, and they have a built-in shimmer in it. So it looks very nice on smooth cheeks. And other than that, I just have a bunch of lip colors from different drugstore brands. I have eyeliners and eyebrow pencils from them, glitter from NYX, which I included throughout my masterclass tour last year. in the goodie bags, and a bunch of pencils from LA Girl. We got white, nude, black, brown, you know, the basics. I even have a purplish violet one here for fun, and some liquid liners as well. So there's a lot of really, really cool products that I have to show you today, but I wanted to make sure that I showed you those ones first, just so you have an idea of what we're about to do today. And as tools to help us with our whole makeover today, we're going to be using Shadow Shields, which is found at Walmart and a lot of drugstores. Shadow Shields is going to help us with under eye, you know, the fallout of eyeshadows that can fall right over here and tend to ruin your whole makeup. This is what we're going to use to help us. As you can see, it just goes right under the eye. It will also help with eyelining and things like that. And then my favorite drugstore lashes are from Ardell. I have a couple to choose from, Natural Dummies and Glamour Wispies. So those are my two most favorite styles from Ardell, and the glue duo adhesive is found at drugstores everywhere. I would definitely try to get a latex-free version though if you can, because that is going to be better for those of you who have very, very sensitive eyes. But this one is the regular dark tone one, and I also have the clear glue as well. Now this is from Beauty 360. It is a really, really cool beauty blender type of sponge. You see how pointy it is at the tip? It will fit so perfectly right under the eye, so we don't actually ruin her lashes or anything like that, because it's so fine, and it'll fit into crevices around the nose better, and it'll really blend nicely. And you could even clean up edges with this because it is so sharp. And I just discovered this recently when I went to the drugstore, and I absolutely fell in love. So I bought a bunch for myself too. So that is from Beauty 360. It is basically in, this is the package. So it's this little purple guy. It's 2 for $11 at CVS. And Burt's Bees. I love Burt's Bees lip products. I use them on myself just to condition my lips. So I'm going to use this on her while I'm priming her skin, just to give her lips a little conditioning treatment before I put on her lipstick later. And I feel like there's a few more things. Oh, there is. Okay, my mascaras of choice. There are two mascaras that I have actually used in the past that I absolutely love, and I did try a few others out there, but they just don't compare in my opinion as far as the drugstore brands are concerned. So these are the two that won my vote. One is Lash Blast Volume by CoverGirl, and this is the waterproof version. What I love about this, especially when it comes to doing clients' makeup, is that the wand is clean, and it comes with a cap on top. So what I did for my kit, when I used to use this in my kit before I went on to luxury brands, I ended up using this as the like reusable wand, and I would dip it in once and coat both my clients' eyes with it, and then I wouldn't put it back. I'd just screw back the top and keep this separate, and then you just soak it in brush cleaner and then do a wipe down. You could even spray it with alcohol and it's ready for use again. It's not real hair, it's actually rubber bristles, so that way it's actually able to be soaked and cleaned. So really, really cool, and it's a money saver for those of you who don't want to buy so many disposable wands. You can totally reuse this one and clean it between clients. So that's one thing I really liked about this. For those of you who are using for your own use, I really love the Telescopic Carbon Black by L'Oreal. So this one's an amazing, amazing mascara. What I like about it is that it's very, very thickening and lengthening, so it can really spike out your lashes. And the fact that the brush is really skinny, you can get into even your tiniest lashes, and it's really cool. So that's the other one that I really liked. And then the brushes that I'm going to be using today are all from NYX Cosmetics. They're actually really, really professional, nice, good quality brushes, and very easy to clean and very easy to use, and so soft. Oh my God, you're going to love this. So that's what I'm going to do. And if there are any brushes that are not NYX, I will definitely let you know which ones they are. I might be using a couple Morphe brushes here and there, but most likely I'll be sticking to my NYX set. So are you guys ready to go ahead and get started? I think you might be. Again, for those of you who signed on late, go ahead and go to my latest post on Instagram so you can ask your questions there for the Q&A, and then later on I'm going to sit down and answer some. So at this point, we're going to zoom into the model's face, and we're just going to go ahead and get started. Also, please excuse my nails. They have been neglected. I have not really been taking care of myself. As you can see, my hair is just a mess. My nails are horrible. Everything's really bad, so don't judge. I will be taking care of myself when I have time. But right now, I'm focusing on work. So, first things first, we are going to apply her primer. The primer that I'm going to use is the Angel Veil Primer from NYX. I'm going to apply a little bit onto the back of my hand. And then just smooth it on to her face. And you'll notice that even this primer does fill in pores, even though it's not the pore filler primer, which is even better for pores. This one's kind of an all-in-one type of primer. So it smooths, it protects, it fills in uneven surfaces, and it makes your makeup last longer because it's going on more even. So again, just using your hands, making sure they're sanitized, and giving a nice even layer of this amazing primer. A lot of my clients that were allergic to MAC, I used to use NYX as the replacement, and it held up really well for weddings. So if you are wanting to be a wedding makeup artist and you are just starting to invest in your kit, but you just don't want to spend too much, like I said, NYX Cosmetics is probably my #1 choice as far as the most inexpensive but best quality products for the price. I've noticed, especially shopping these days, I don't remember it being this expensive at a drugstore when I was, using drugstore products as I was growing up, but they're kind of pricey, I'm not gonna lie. These foundations were $15 and you can get, like, for the same price with your MAC Pro card at MAC. So might as well go get a certificate or whatever MAC requires for you to get the Pro card and just get it for MAC if you can. But NYX is definitely a lot cheaper, and so is LA Girl Cosmetics. Those two amazing products, amazing price, you can't beat it. So now that that is on, we're gonna go ahead and apply the foundation. So I'm pumping a couple pumps. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to pour a little bit from the bottle here so I'm not like messing up the pump. And this color is 150. Revlon Color Stay, normal to dry, and number 150. The brush I'm going to use today is number 8 from NYX Cosmetics, number 8. I'm just going to use one side of the brush for now. And we are literally pressing it right into the skin. And you'll notice that as you press it in, it starts to kind of disappear and look more natural with her skin. Looks so good. Another thing that I really loved about this foundation when I used to use it myself was that it was so full coverage, and because it said 24-hour wear, I would specifically wear it when I would like go to the beach or something and I still wanted to look really, really good, because it lasted throughout sweating and staying in the sun and swimming and all that stuff. It's pretty awesome. If you guys saw my sweat-proof makeup tutorial, this product was mentioned in it. So I'm really glad that I'm able to use it now so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So I'm just stamping the product in, making sure it all looks super smooth and amazing. Now we're going to work on the T-zone. And if any areas don't look 100% smooth and perfect, you can go back in with your sponge or a beauty blender and remove any excess product, or absorb it basically, not really remove. You don't want to wipe, you want to just absorb. Okay, so I'm stamping. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit so that I can get a fuller coverage out of this. And right now I'm just picking up the loose bristles that are getting stuck here. Beautiful. And then whatever's left, I'm just gonna take it down to the neck just so everything looks really even. All right. Now that that part is done, I'm going to go ahead and use the back of this sponge to make sure everything looks super, super, super smooth. I'm just basically pushing product into the skin. You could absolutely also use a wedge. These are much more economical. And you just throw it away after every use. Those sponges, you have to clean it with a sponge cleaner so that you can reuse it, because you definitely don't want to throw those away after every use. So this is just absorbing extra product. If you don't want to use a sponge, you can use these wedges, which is a sponge, but it's a little bit more flexible and thin, so there's no problem with you throwing it away. Now that that's done, let's go ahead and start applying concealer. I'm going to be using a couple of shades actually, just to make sure we have a good highlight and contour going on here. So I'll play around. I've never done her makeup before, so I'm going to play around with these colors and see what looks best. Most likely I'll be using Porcelain as her highlight and Almond as her contour. These are brand new, so I'm just gonna open it up. And I'm going to use it directly on her, or you can use a brush. But these brushes actually do work pretty well. Before I actually use it, I like to squeeze some product out of the tube onto my hand, just to get it working. And now I'm going to go ahead and draw all her highlights. Go ahead and look up to the ceiling. Yeah. So I'm going to go across and I'm going to brighten up that intersection right here. And I'm going to drag it across the eyes. And along the side of the nose. And a little bit around the nostril. I'm also going to brighten the chin and a little bit coming out from the corner of the mouth. And now the T-zone. So we're going to do the forehead, basically from eyebrow arch to eyebrow arch, so arch to arch, and going down the center of the nose. Awesome. So that would be all the highlight areas. She's looking at herself in the monitor like, what the hell is going on in my face? All right, now we're gonna use, that was Porcelain by the way, now we're gonna use Almond. I'm squeezing a little bit out onto the back of my hand so I can play around with this product a little bit. And now I'm going to apply her contour zones. You want to go very, very thin here. There we go. So now that her contour zones are finished and her highlight zones are finished, I'm going to have her just kind of turn a little bit side to side so you guys can get a full view of what I did for her. I did not contour her jawline because she already has a great structure there, so I don't need to do any more. I'm going to leave it at this. If you want to take screenshots, by the way, of this class, this is the time to take your screenshot of the highlighting contour map just so you know where everything goes. This is a very universal way of doing it. Of course, with larger foreheads, you want to do a little bit more contour. With smaller foreheads, a little bit more highlight. But basically, this is how I found it to be easier for pretty much most different people. So now blending. So we're going to go in with our wedge. And we're going to start blending all the highlight first. I'm just pushing it right into the skin. See how gorgeous? Same on this side. Bringing it around the nostril. Giving it a nice spread out coverage. I'm going to go back to that other sponge, that purple one, for the inner corners of the eyes because I just don't want to poke her or anything. Now we're going to do this whole area here, the chin. Blending all that out. So only the highlight zones first. Then with a different sponge, we're going to do the contour zones. I don't want to mix the colors and contaminate there. And we just want to make sure that everything is as smooth as possible. I don't want to see any lines, nothing crazy. Okay. For these little pieces right here, we're just going to use the tip of the sponge and make sure those inner corners of the eye are well blended. And go ahead and look up. Awesome. Now we're ready for the other sponge so that we can start blending the contour. So I'm just bringing in the line. We're going to turn a little bit so you can see. I'm bringing in the line and spreading it just a bit. I don't want it to be super, super sharp. So we are doing a little bit of a spreading. So it looks a little more natural there. And don't forget the temple zone. This kind of creates a little bit more of a bronzy effect, a 3D effect. And then I go back with my other sponge, the one that I used for the highlight setting, and then overlap just a bit on the darker areas so it looks a little bit more natural. Check that out. Ooh, yes. And then we're going to do the other side, so I'm going to turn her here. And we're going to start bringing in all this contour. Spreading it just a bit. Getting in the temple. Smoothing it in. And then switching to the highlight sponge and blending the edges to overlap a little bit and to look more natural. Amazing. Okay. So now that that's done, we're going to get back to this corner, finish the nose contour. And I love to switch those sponges up just to make sure everything's blended in. And it doesn't look all brown and crazy. All right, so now that the highlight and contour have been blended, we need to set it so that it looks smooth. So we're going to use different color powders from the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. This palette right here. So we're going to be using these colors, a mix of these, to create her perfect shade for her highlights. And we're going to also use one of the lighter shades of the contour to set the contour. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the loose powder, but if you guys want to see what it looks like, I'll go ahead and open it up so you can get an idea of how to use it, what it looks like, and all that stuff. So the one I'm going to use is the NYX HD Studio powder. Just to show you how it's going to work here. So I'm just going to apply a little bit, I'm going to dump a little bit of this powder into the lid. See how thin that is? And I'm going to go in with my number 2 powder brush from NYX. And I'm just going to take a good amount of this and I'm going to push it into the bristles. Woo, look at that cloud. Oh my. But do you see how refined it is? I just put so much on the brush and you can't even see it. It's so refined. Very, very translucent. Tap off. And we're just going to press it into the skin. This is how I would use a loose powder. Of course, there's so many different ways you can do that. Press it into the skin. Let it set the makeup a little bit so that the makeup doesn't move around. You could even go in with your sponge if you want to do some baking or anything. For example, if you just want to press it into the skin to bake, that's fine too. But pretty much, if you were to use any loose powder, I just like to lightly set it first and then go in with like a really heavy duty powder to do some more contouring and highlighting and brightening and all that good stuff. All right, that is that for that demonstration. Now I'm ready to go crazy with it. So at this point I am going to use some of my Morphe brushes. Those can be found on morphebrushes.com. And I'm also going to be using, I'll be using 2 Morphe brushes. One is going to be a little bit more bronzy for the contour. So this is the Morphe 438 brush, Morphe 438. And I'm just going to set a little bit of the contour with this brush. Very, very lightly. I'm not going too crazy. I just don't want a lot going on here. And now I'm going to go in with this light color powder here. And this brush is called M428 from Morphe. And I'm going to set her under eyes. Go ahead and look up to the ceiling. First I'm going to set as close to her eye as possible with a small brush. And then I'm going to switch the brush to a larger brush for larger areas. But I love setting with a smaller brush first around the eye area because it really gets in there and it prevents creasing for your concealer. So it's a great way to get a long-lasting concealer effect there. So pressing in a nice full coverage powder. And we're also going to do the same thing for the nose, right along the bridge here. Same color, that really bright color. And I'm just pressing it in and then blending with the same small brush. You can also absolutely use your fingertip if you want a sharper appearance. And anywhere that you want to blend, just very lightly flick with their brush. I like to put a little extra in the T-zone. She's not super oily, so I'm not going to do a whole lot, but this will prevent the shine from popping through. Okay, so now that that's pretty smooth looking, I'm going to go ahead and go in with, back to the powder brush, the larger number 2 powder brush from NYX. And I'm now going to set all the lighter areas of the face. So all the areas that I highlighted, the larger areas of those, I'm going to set with this. Just so it looks a little bit more flawless. I'm I'm gonna mix some of this yellow color right here just to warm up the bottom half of her face because she does have a little bit of a tan on her body. So I don't want the face to look too pale in comparison. So using a little bit of that yellow color mixed in with that light color is gonna warm up her skin so it matches the body better. So I'm gonna use this kind of throughout the jaw area and the cheek area. I'm also going to bring a little bit up to the sides of the nose. The yellow is also going to combat any redness showing through on the tips of the nose. And then right along the edges of the forehead. And it'll overlap just on the edge of the contour, so it warms that area up too. It's a nice little transition in between that super light color and the contour color. Love it so far. So that was that. Basically just these two colors and this color. For shimmer, there's this color right here on the far left, and that's like a pearl shimmer color. And that's what I'll be using to add a little bit of shine right on her cheekbones. And any fan brush will do. I couldn't find my drugstore fan brush, so I'm using a Motives one here. And I'm just pushing it right into the upper cheekbone area. And then turn a little bit this way. And you guys can see that pop of shine and how bright it is. It really looks smooth and beautiful, especially on camera. And we can also use a little bit of this color right above the eyebrows for some shine, right on the nose and right on the chin, just so she has this like overall glow. And I also love to put a little bit on the collarbones, and it ends up popping really nice in pictures. And a little bit right here in the center. All right, so now that all that is done, we're ready for the blush. By the way, you guys, this is a natural makeup tutorial. It's not super heavy, although the foundation is considered a full coverage foundation. I only put one layer on, so it goes on pretty light, and I did blend it with a blender, a sponge, so it's not super duper heavy. So now I'm going to go into the blush colors. I'm going to ask our model which one she prefers. And what I like to do, so I just kind of hold out my palette to my client and I ask her, keep in mind your lip color. So whatever lip color you choose, if it's like coral, then you want to go with a more orangey blush. If your lip color that you want to choose is more pinky, you're going to go with a more pinky tone. If it's neutral, then neutral is fine. Whatever you're feeling for lips, choose that for cheeks.
Between those two.
Between these two? Okay. Let's do, I want to see this one on you. It has like a mix of some of that in there. Okay, so we're going to use number 3 Berry Amour Baked Powder Blush from Milani Cosmetics. Number 3 Berry Amour. It's like a mix of some warm and cool shades in there. So it's pretty interesting. If you want to see a nice close-up, it's very cool. Iridescent, very nice. And we're going to use, you know what, I want to use this brush again. I know I use this for foundation, but it's a really good size for cheeks. So I'm going to go in, and that brush is NYX number 8. And Smile for us. And I'm just going to catch her smile with this gorgeous shade. And it's just giving her a little bit of color and a very natural glow. Absolutely stunning. And just to blend the very top parts of the highlights, I like to go back in with the lighter color for under the eyes. of overlap a little bit so that the cheek color literally fades right into the highlight. Awesome. Okay, so now that that's done, we're officially ready for her eyes and her eyebrows and all that stuff. Before I get started on her eyes, I'm gonna give her lips a little bit of a conditioning treatment with the Burt's Bees lip balm. So I'm just going to lightly, go ahead and like pout your lips a little bit. I'm just gonna lightly apply throughout the lips. And then by the time we're ready to do her lipstick, her lips should feel a little bit more hydrated. Okay. For the eyes, we're going to first use Proof It, which is the eyeshadow primer. And it just looks like this, and I'm going to use it with the same brush that we were using originally for the highlights, which is this brush here, the Morphe 428. And close. And I'm just pressing it into the entire eyelid and underbrow area. Basically, anywhere that you're going to apply powder products, you can use this on the eyes. Now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Carli Bybel palettes. And I'm going to use this small brush from NYX in number 13. And I'll be using this light color from the palette from BH Cosmetics. And I'm pressing that color right into her brow bone. It's sticking really well, and I only have to do 2 coats for a nice brightening effect around her brow area. Amazing. Same on the other side. Again, the brush I'm using is number 13 from NYX Cosmetics. And I'm going all the way to the inner corner of the eye and all the way across her brow bone. So now that's done. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply a crease color using NYX number 17 brush. This is an awesome shape for the crease. It's so perfect because it blends as it applies without going too crazy. So for the crease color, I'm going to go ahead and use this middle shade right here from the same palette. And we're just going to apply it on that outer half of the crease. Right in through here. Open your eyes. So now you can see a nice kind of a warm wash of like a warm mauve across her crease. And to bring out her beautiful blue eyes, I'm going to be using this gold color from the Full Throttle NYX palette, which is this one right here. And the palette is this one, Full Throttle, and the color is called Daring Damsel. And I'll just be using this gold color for now. I'm going back to that underbrow brush that we used, which is number 13. I'm sweeping a nice generous amount of gold onto the brush. And she's going to close her eyes. And And I'm gonna apply it on this outer half of the lid. You see how beautiful the pigment is? It's very bright. And I'm blending that inner half line because now I'm gonna go in with this really light pearl color. Getting a good amount of that. And I'm gonna stick it in that inner half and the tear duct. And that's really gonna create a nice soft gradient on her eye. And it's pretty simple. It's just 3-4 steps total. Nothing too difficult, especially if any of you are trying this at home for your own use. You can definitely do this. If it's a little hard for you, just practice a little bit more and you'll get it. Instead of wasting too much time blending, what I like to do, as you can see, is I pat over and I overlap certain areas so that it kind of just blends into each other without me having to sit there and blend. So now I'm going back to that same crease color from before, and I'm bringing that up so that when she opens her eyes, you can still see it. Okay, open your eyes. How gorgeous is that? Now I'm gonna go in and add a little bit of color underneath her lower lash line with this flat shader brush, number 10 from NYX Cosmetics. I'm gonna go in with this plum color. This one right here. Go ahead and look up to the ceiling. And I'm giving her a little bit of a smoky effect right under her lashes. And remember to use shadow shields if you ever experience fallout or anything. Or you can always dust it off since we applied a lot of powder under her. You can dust it off. But I want to show you how I use shadow shields for the eyeliner. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this other brush right here, NYX number 15 brush. It's this little smudger guy. And I'm going to go back in with the gold. And look up. We're going to add that gold to the inner 2/3, overlapping with that wine color. Looks incredible on you. Wow, oh my gosh, this is smoking and good. And then now we're ready for her eyeliner and her liquid liner and all that stuff. I do want to bring out a little bit more sultry qualities in your eyes. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do some black eyeliner, if that's okay. Okay, cool. So I will be using the Black Gel Glide Liner from LA Girl. This is a brand new one. Right in here, go ahead and look up. And I'm just filling in her waterline. Now with that flat brush, I'm going in with a black eyeshadow to set it. I'll show you the palette that has some dark colors in it. The Nudes palette has this really, really dark plum color. This one right here, which I'll actually be using instead of black. It's like a purple black almost. Go ahead and look up. And it's gonna set her eyeliner and also soften the edges. set the liner portion, blend it out, soften the edges. Make sure it all looks amazing. Clean up. And now we're ready for the shadow shield to help us with our eyeliner for the top. So I'm going to be using another LA item, but this is not LA Girl, it's LA Colors. It's called the Graphics Eyeliner from LA Colors. LA Colors is actually found at Family Dollar now, so you can get a lot of LA Color products for $1. It's insane. This is a brand new one as well. And it's just like a stiff applicator, so there's no bristles that split up or anything. And now I'm going to go into my shadow shield so I can show you how I use it to help me. If you ever have a day where you have a shaky hand or anything. Okay. So here's the shadow shield. The back, as you can see, has different flaps of the adhesive backing. So this whole thing will stick on you if you want, or for me, because I do the face first and then eyes, I don't want it to stick on the whole under eye, otherwise I'm gonna have to redo the makeup. So what I do is I just take off one corner at a time if I'm using it to help me with eyeliner. So I'm just gonna use this right here in that corner. I know, so weird. And you're gonna go ahead and turn a little bit this way and you're gonna close your eyes. Okay, so I'm using it in that corner to help. And now she's just gonna keep her eyes closed for a little while, and check this out. I can be messy and crazy and do whatever. And now I'm gonna drag it in. Thinner and thinner as I go in. But see that outside part, I went pretty thick. We're gonna let that dry. And when I peel this off, it's gonna be a nice sharp line. Ta-da! Nice and thin, gorgeous wing. It looks incredible. It looks so beautiful. So look at what the shadow shield did for me. It caught my smudging right there, and it ended up giving her the perfect little wing. Even if I wanted to go more dramatic, I absolutely could, and it would still give me an incredible wing. So let's say if you want to go more dramatic, go ahead and, actually, yeah, that's good. And close your eyes. If I wanted to go more dramatic, I can go all the way to the tip and go really thick here. Let that dry. Oh, I didn't even go all the way to the end. Open your eyes. And now we have a little bit more of a dramatic wing there. Don't forget to smoke out the bottom part of the wing with the same color that you set the lower lash line with. Go ahead and look up. So I'm going in with that kind of darker plum color, and I'm smoking out that bottom part of the wing so it matches the under eye smoke. Awesome. Looks so cute. It's like a cat eye kind of a deal. So same with the other side. I took out that other side sticker. I do want to make sure that this black doesn't touch anything else, so I'm going to bend it forward. Actually, you could even just cut it off. I don't want it to touch her, so I'm just gonna cut it off. Okay, so I just cut that part off. I'm gonna go in draw again. Again, this is the LA Colors Graphics eyeliner. It's a liquid eyeliner. It's not a felt tip and it's not a brush. It's just a hard applicator. And if you have trouble with eyeliners, this applicator is actually, in my opinion, much easier to use because you can stamp across without ruining the applicator. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. Peel that part off. If there's any gaps or anything, you can always fill that in. She's gonna look up for me so I can fill in this lower gap. And now I can use that flat brush again and smoke out the bottom edge of the wing. Awesome. Beautiful. If you ever want to extend a wing, you can always use your nail or play around with it, but it definitely helps to have a shadow shield. So now we're going to curl her lashes, apply mascara. Actually, before I even do that, I have an eyebrow pencil that I really wanted to show you that I love. It's the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. It's so fine. One end is the brush, one end is the pencil. It goes on really, really fine. And it's a great color for her hair. It's this one is, I believe it's taupe. Yeah, it's taupe. This color is called taupe. So I'm going to just brush through her hair and fill in the brow. Small strokes. It ends up looking like her natural hair because the pencil is so fine pointed. Beautiful. Look at that shape, and I barely touched it. So we're going to brush out all the powder that fell in there. We're going to go in and match the shape. And once they match, I think I'm going to go a little thicker here. Once they match, you can move on to the lashes. Stunning. All right, time for the lashes. So we're going to curl her lashes. I'm really picky with my lash curler, so I have not found a drugstore brand lash curler that I really love. So I'm sticking with my favorite, which is from Shiseido. You can find it at Macy's. Go ahead and look down. But yeah, if you want to stick with drugstore brand, that's fine. I just haven't found one that I would be willing to recommend, so I did not include it in this class. And now we will be using the L'Oreal telescopic, brand new, just for her. By the way, all the brand new products that I'm opening up for her, they are going to be gifted to her as her makeup goodie bag after class. So she's gonna take all these home. This is just a great way for her to get an idea of how much she loves them already. Go ahead and look up. So this is the telescopic, super, super fine. It'll take even the smallest of hairs to the next level. Let that dry. If you need a moment to like blink and stuff, tell me. I'll back off. Okay, let that dry. Already you can totally see the length of your bottom lashes, like totally hitting your cheek a little bit. Okay, before she looks down, we're gonna let that dry for a little bit, because what's gonna happen is when she looks down, all the black is gonna touch her down here, and we don't want that. So we're gonna let her dry maybe 10 more seconds before I let her look down, and I'll do the top lashes. Go ahead and look down. And we're coating the top lashes. By the way, I want you to see what I do when the mascara accidentally hits the eyelid. What you're supposed to do is let it dry before smearing it all over the place. Let it dry and then use a clean brush to just swipe it off. So we're gonna give that a couple seconds here. And close your eyes. And now I'm just using the clean eyeshadow pad to swipe off any little smudges from the mascara. And good as new. Now for the lashes. So we're going to, I'll have you pick. Do you want to do this one, which is shorter to longer, or do you want to do this one, which is kind of longest in the center? This one? All right. So we're gonna go with the Ardell Demi Wispies, the naturals, which are still really full. So I'm gonna use these on her. And because she has light hair and everything, and lighter, actually no, we're doing black. Okay, we can do either the dark or the light duo adhesive glue. It's okay either way for her, only because she has black eyeliner on. So if we use the black, it's not gonna show. If we use the clear, it's not really gonna show. It's gonna go clear anyway. But just because I like the dark, I'm gonna use the dark. And then I'm going to apply the glue onto the strip of lashes here. Using the back of my tweezers. I'm gonna wait for the glue to get really like sticky, kind of dry almost, before I actually stick it on her so it doesn't slide all over the place. Waiting on that to get tacky. And now I'm going to hold up the lashes and go center to center. And stamp it across to stick to the roots of her own lashes where the root meets the eyelid. Okay, open. And now you can see those cute flares right at the end. Close again. And I'm going to do the other side while this dries. If you want your lashes to really stand out, try curling the lashes before you put them on, and they'll stick up more. So I'm going to wait for these to get a little dry. And I'm going to hold it center to center. Close down that side and then close down the inner. And I'm pressing across to make sure it's all stuck to her really well. Open and look up. Okay, close. I'm going to add a little more glue to this inner corner. My favorite glue is from House of Lashes. Duo always gives me a hard time right here in the corners. It doesn't dry fast enough. And then when it does start to dry, then all of a sudden it's like too dry. And then it doesn't stick very well. So I'd rather just stick with the House of Lashes glue. The Flutter Lashes glue is very similar to the House of Lashes glue. So both of those are fine choices. Duo, I'm not a fan. But that's the one that's included in most drugstores. So that's why I had to show you. Now you see my frustration with certain drugstore things. We're gonna let that dry all the way before she opens. While we wait on that, we're gonna start her lip liner and her lipstick. I'm going to be, okay, so what type of lipstick colors do you like?
Mostly like peachy.
Peachy?
Yeah.
Cool.
More like a bronze.
Okay, open your eyes. So go in with a little bit more of that black eyeliner in your inner corners here. Go ahead and look down in that corner. And then we're going to let that dry a little bit. Alright, so I have some choices for you for lips. We do have some peachy nudes, beiges, things like that. Okay, so I have a few of my favorites from LA Girl and LA Colors. So this is more of like a peachy, and I can always mute it down with like this lip gloss so it looks more like natural if you don't want it too bright.
I kind of like it bright.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we shall do that. And then do you like gloss on top?
Yes.
Cool. So I'll be using just a very neutral, long-lasting, all-day wear lip liner from LA Girl Cosmetics. This color is called Natural. Kind of goes with everything. And I'm just lining around the edge of her lips. Beautiful. Now I'm going to use this brand new matte flat velvet lipstick from LA Girl, and the color is called Sunset Chic. Sunset Chic. And I do have a lip brush from NYX Cosmetics in number 20. I'm going to go in, grab a bunch of color, and start filling in the lips. It's a gorgeous, bright, peachy coral shade. I'm just spreading it out, and I am overlapping it with the lip liner so that the lip liner doesn't look too dark in comparison. So I'm just overlapping here. And now for a final coat of gloss on top. This is from LA Colors. And this color is called Pucker Up. It's beautiful and light, very sheer, but it has a little bit of that iridescent, peachy, pinky glow to it. I'm taking some out, putting it onto the back of my hand. And we're gonna add the lips for a nice glow. Awesome. Okay, just make sure everything looks good here. Close your eyes one more time. And open. Look up to the ceiling. Yeah, there you go. All right, my friends. We are all set with her makeover. This completes everything. And if you guys are looking for like a good setting spray or anything like that, I'm not a fan of setting sprays in general. But if you're looking for one from, a drugstore brand, NYX has a million different setting sprays that you can choose from. They have a mattifying one, they have a hydrating one, they have all sorts of different ones. So definitely get the one that you think goes with your skin best. So what we're gonna do right now is Brittany's gonna do like a little bit of a side to side kind of posing for you so you can see how everything looks on her, and you can get your final screenshots in and basically remember what we did today and where everything goes and all that good stuff. It looks incredible. So not bad for drugstore products. That's pretty cool. So at this point, what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch places. Brittany's gonna go sit down, relax for 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and spend the next 10 minutes answering your questions. So I will see you in a few. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Okay. Ooh, I'm spinning. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer some popular questions from my latest post on Instagram, which is this post here. Again, I apologize for my crazy appearance today. I've given up on myself, literally, I've given up on myself. So let me go ahead and go to the beginning. Kat Rosalina is asking, what do you think is the appropriate age to start makeup? That is, it's pretty subjective because it depends on your cultural background too, because a lot of cultures are a little bit more conservative than others. With my culture, my two different cultures that I was raised in, and then of course being in the US kind of changed some things for me. I'm half Indian, half Afghan, and so my background, usually the girls don't wear makeup until like after high school. Usually in high school it's like very minimal, like eyeliner and things like that. Nowadays, because everyone's a makeup artist so young and everyone's into makeup and it's become such a mainstream thing, I think if I were to have a daughter personally, and me being a makeup artist doesn't mean that I would let my daughter wear all this makeup at age 12. I would feel comfortable with her wearing certain things after her 16th birthday or on her 16th birthday. Maybe eyeliner and very, very basic things. And then after high school, kind of letting her do whatever she wants as far as the makeup is concerned. But I would be a little bit careful with how much she puts on, because even though there's no major correlation to makeup damaging your skin, because a lot of makeup has sun blocking effects in it that actually help to block the harmful rays from hitting and penetrating your skin, so that's one good thing. But putting chemicals on your face does scare me for young girls, so I personally think 16 is like my golden age of when I feel okay for girls putting on makeup and after. Okay, Sarah_middlemass is asking, is there anything you would change basically from the Indian bridal makeup you do to a fair light skin tone traditional English bridal makeup? And thank you for all your compliments, Sarah, you're so sweet. There are a lot of differences that I would do between English bridal makeup and Indian bridal makeup. The colors are very, very different. With Indian bridal makeup, everything's very, very traditional, smoky, dark, sometimes glittery and things like that. So it is, in general, a lot more dramatic than English bridal makeup. When I'm doing someone who's wearing a white dress, I'm a little bit more mindful on what colors I'm using. I tend to do more neutral shades, and sometimes I'll do metallics with some golds and stuff, but it's usually not super, super glittery unless they are ethnic themselves and they're asking for it, or once in a while I will have a light Caucasian client wanting an Arabic eye, but normally not for their wedding. I don't think I've ever had a white Caucasian girl ask for that for their actual wedding day. It's usually been for parties or certain other events if they just wanted to try things like that. In my opinion, I don't like to put rules on what you should and shouldn't do when it comes to makeup when you're a grown person, whatever ethnicity you are. If you want to do something that's known in a completely different ethnicity, but you want to try it, I have no problem with that. Especially even when it comes to like cultural appropriation, I'm not a believer of that at all. I respect all cultures, but as someone who has two very distinct ethnic backgrounds to me, I would be honored to do something that is known in my country, in my parents' countries, on someone who is a foreigner, someone who may have never done anything like that. I would be so proud and happy to do that for someone. But yeah, going back to your question on the difference, I wouldn't be as heavy-handed with English bridal makeover unless they specifically asked me to be. All right, let's see. A lot of people are asking about my favorite drugstore primer, which I did show you the two that are my favorites from NYX Cosmetics, which are the Angel Veil, which I pretty much would use on anybody. There's not a specific skin type, but for specifically oily skin, I would try the pore minimizing one. They also have sprays that are mattifying sprays at NYX, which work really well. And then there's also some professional like HD type of primers, which are from Maybelline. They have some really good ones too, so I would give those a try. Neutrogena is excellent for skincare. If you try Neutrogena, I use their makeup wipes, and I would definitely trust their brand for skin prepping products as well. Hannah_Suhail is asking, what are some good drugstore eyebrow products? The one I use today is also from NYX. It's one of my favorites from a drugstore. It actually reminds me a lot of Anastasia's Brow Wiz because they both have the brush at the end, and they both have a very fine precision pencil, which is an automatic roll-up pencil, so it has a lot of similarities. So I would say that one, but if you're looking for like strictly the drugstore, NYX is in certain drugstores, but not all, then I would try Revlon. Revlon eyebrow products in general, I've used since I was in high school. I never had good brows. I had a decent shape, but they were very sparse. I never had thick brows. So when I was in high school, like 16, 17 years old, I was putting on eyebrow pencil almost every day, just to fill it in, and I would use Revlon Color Stay Eyebrow Pencil at the time. I'm not sure if they still make it, but if they do, that would be my favorite from a drugstore. Okay, so drugstore concealers that I like. LA Girl Pro Conceal, the HD Pro Conceal that I used today on our model is my all-time favorite concealer. In general, it's exactly like the MAC Pro Longwear. I use MAC Pro Longwear on my brides, but I still use the LA Girl Pro Conceal for highlight and contour a lot of times. But if I didn't have the MAC Pro Longwear, I would absolutely use the LA Girl Pro Conceal. It's amazing. I love it so much. It's perfect. And they come in so many colors, so you're bound to find some amazing shades, and they're so cheap that you might as well just buy all of them and have them for your kid if you're a makeup artist. In regular drugstore, like Walgreens.com has LA Girl. I don't know if Walgreens, the store, would have it. They might, but I know Walgreens.com has LA Girl. For other brands, L'Oreal is excellent for face stuff in general, and Revlon. So Revlon Color Stay 24-Hour has a concealer that I would give a try, and L'Oreal is the company that owns Lancome, and I love Lancome everything, so I am kind of partial to L'Oreal products as well. Let's answer a few more questions. I have 5 more minutes. Oh yeah, eyeliners, the other part of your question. Eyeliners, this question is from TMS Makeup Artistry. Talked about the concealer. For gel and felt tip eyeliner, what's worthy of bridal use, just make sure that it's waterproof. So whatever you're shopping for, whether it's drugstore or outside of a drugstore, make sure it's waterproof and it's okay for a bride. That's the most important thing. A lot of people asking about loose powders. I did already talk about that. That was the NYX HD loose powder. e.l.f. Cosmetics, which we found at Target, also has an amazing loose powder, which is constantly being compared to the Makeup Forever loose powder. So those two would be the ones to try if you're into that. A lot of questions regarding doing makeup showing different face shapes, different eye shapes and things like that. I actually did record a few tutorials like that about different eye shapes and different face shapes and things. And I'll see if I want to go ahead and air it for you guys, because I think if I were to do it live, it would be really, really tough to get all those different face shapes together. Like you guys know, I've been doing talent searches for all my classes lately, and it's been so hard to find specific models with specific face shapes and eye shapes, even though we're in LA, because people's schedules are so busy and because we're in a tight schedule ourselves, it's kind of hard to arrange all that. But I've already recorded a bunch of classes, not for DYFL, but for another project, of different face shapes, different eye shapes, different ways to contour and highlight per face shape, different correctional things. And I would like to air that for you someday. So definitely keep your eyes open for any announcements that I may make about that. If I can get together that many different face shapes in one room, I will definitely do it live for you. It would be a very, very long class though, so I'm not sure if we can really make that possible, but because I already did it, and we've edited it into a really cool episode, I will try my best to get the approval to air it to you guys. Okay. Couple more questions. A lot of these questions I've already answered in this class, so I'm skipping over a bunch. Okay, Fauzia.makeup.passion is asking, Dear Tam, any tips for applying lipstick perfectly to others' faces as I struggle with properly shaping? And what's the best shape of a lip brush? So if you're having trouble with the lining of the lips, Shadow Shield actually works really well around the lips too, if you need help. So you would just stick this on the bottom edge of the lip, stick it like a sticker, and then you can go in and do your liquid lipstick or your liner and then peel this off and you have a straight, nice line. And you can use it on the top edges as well. Just use a few different ones. You can even cut them to your shape. There's a lot of ways that you can use this Shadow Shield to help you with precision. As far as my favorite shape of a lip brush, I'm not really picky, but if you're looking for very sharp edges, use a flat brush with a rounded edge. But the thinner the brush, the sharper your edge is going to be. Your other question was, for under eye area of dark skin, sometimes it looks ashy even after so much corrector and apricot concealer. What should you do? So basically, if you've already used the orange concealer or apricot undertones, and then after you set it, it looks ashy, it's your powder. If it looks ashy before you even set it, then it's not the right color corrector. So there are different levels of orange. If you're looking at someone who has very dark skin, then you need a very strong orange to combat it. For someone with lighter skin, you need more of a peachy apricot tone to combat it. But the powder matters as well. So if you're seeing that ashiness shine through after the powder has been set, it's the powder that's too light. So you want to make sure that you're getting a powder that has a peach tone. Anastasia Beverly Hills has so many peach colors in their contour palettes. You can pick and choose which colors you want and build your own contour palette. They have a color called Golden Peach, which is incredible for that exact purpose. And there's also a color called L'Orange, which is an orange color that you can mix with their own powder color to create a little bit more warmth under the eyes. So sometimes if I put the powder under the eyes and I'm like, holy crap, it turned gray, I'll add a little bit of L'Orange to it from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it just kind of warms it right back up and it looks normal again. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question and then I'm going to talk for a couple minutes because there's a couple things I wanted to explain to you guys before I left. My favorite, okay, so Sahar Zaib is asking, what's the best orange color corrector for dark circles? So this kind of ties in with the previous question. And what's the best way of contouring a double chin? So when it comes to dark circles, my favorite drugstore one is this orange one from LA Girl Pro Conceal, the HD Pro Conceal. It's orange and it's amazing. It's a really nice burnt orange that works incredibly well for dark circles. Even amongst like high-end luxury brands, this is still a very, very popular choice. Otherwise, I do have palettes from MAC, the little 6-color correcting and concealing palettes from MAC, and they also have different color oranges, so you can choose from them too. And then how you contour a double chin, basically what I normally do is I color the whole jawline a slightly darker color than the rest of their face, and then I bring that darker color on their double chin area and I bring it down to the neck. That way this whole thing looks shadowed instead of like the turkey effect where it's like hanging. You can shadow all of that with bronzer and it will look like it's sucked back in. Just make sure this area is blended. You don't want to see a line out of nowhere. So I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple more things regarding drugstore brands. A bunch of these questions kind of reminded me to talk to you and be very transparent and honest with you. I am not a major drugstore brand expert. I know a lot of YouTubers out there have been experimenting a lot more than I have with drugstore products. In fact, even when I first started off in makeup artistry, most of the products in my kit were luxury lines. I spent a lot of money on my makeup kit. A few items were drugstore items, and then a few of my friends who were using drugstore items got me onto certain other drugstore items, which ended up giving me a little bit of experience in that field. But because you guys kept requesting this class over and over, I went ahead and did more research, tested more products, and came up with this kit that I really wanted to share with you as far as what I would use if I had to use drugstore items. But I'm going to be very, very honest with you and very transparent. I still 99.9% of the time would go with a luxury brand or a trendy artistry brand rather than a drugstore brand, only because I do see a difference. I do. I saw it today. It's not bad. This actually looks really good on her and it looked really smooth and nice. But I'm talking about during the application. I had to spend a little longer to do her whole face today to make it really perfect because I'm so picky and I wanted to make sure that everything was setting really nicely. If I were to do her makeup again, but using all of my like regular products I use in my kit, like the higher end stuff, I would have been a lot quicker because they set faster and they are already full coverage. I don't have to like pile so much stuff on and things like that. So I feel like I am a lot quicker with products that are a little bit higher end. Now, like I said, there are certain things that to me have that higher end feel, but they're still really inexpensive. And those 3 things that I used today that I highly, highly, highly recommend are the NYX Cosmetics items. I feel like that is as close to a trendy luxury brand as possible without being so expensive. And like I said, the thing about what I think about NYX, and by the way, none of this is sponsored. None of my classes online are sponsored in any way, shape, or form by any companies. What I talk about and what I use in classes are things that I really just want to use. They are not companies telling me, oh, use this in your class or whatever. My online classes are strictly for you and I to communicate with pure honesty and trust, and I do not accept any type of advertising on my online classes. So just putting that out there. So when I'm saying that I very much am impressed with NYX Cosmetics, I'm telling you the truth. I'm very much, why else would I allow my face to be the face of NYX for the next 2 months? It's because I truly believe in the brand. So number 1 is NYX, in my opinion, and this is not in order, number 2, 3, whatever. It's the 3 brands that I'm talking about today that I exceptionally love. So NYX is one of them. The other one of them is LA Girl Cosmetics. LA Colors and LA Girl are sister companies. They are both incredibly amazing. LA Colors is even cheaper than LA Girl. LA Girl has a lot of dupes for MAC stuff. It's incredible how similar these products are to MAC. It is incredible. So, and they're so inexpensive. So LA Girl, I love. NYX, I love. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you about is brands that are not really in stores unless they have their own headquarters, but they're only online. And I know it's very hard for some of you out there, international market, to get these kind of things without having to pay an arm and a leg for shipping. But I just have to tell you, Morphe brushes and BH Cosmetics are incredible when it comes to palettes and not spending so much on your makeup kit, but still having a great quality. Morphe has every type of kit you can think of, every type of brush you can think of, everything you need to complete any makeover. Morphe has it, and it's incredible in quality. The amount of love that I have for NYX and for LA Girl, that's the amount of love I have for Morphe. Those three are like, oh my God, like incredible for the price. BH Cosmetics, this particular palette, I've never tried anything else from BH Cosmetics, but that particular palette that Carly Bible made with BH Cosmetics is also incredible. You guys know how much I use it. The pigment is perfect. Everything about it is perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. As a whole brand, I don't know my opinion yet because I haven't tried the whole brand, but all I know is that that palette is incredible. So that I'm just going to sneak into the Morphe realm of stuff because it's all just online. So hopefully that gives you a very clear idea of where I'm coming from when I'm doing this class. It's not that I'm this pro at drugstore makeup. A lot of you were asking, well, what's the most similar thing to this? And what's the most similar thing to this? I don't know because I have not explored every single brand out there. Whatever I have explored, these are my top picks. Whatever I used on her today are amazing. But I still, like I said, whatever beyond those three products that I talked to you about, whatever it is beyond that I used today are exceptional, but not better than, in my opinion, than the MAC products or, you know, these other brands out there that I'm using in my actual professional kit. And I'm not talking about NYX, Morphe, BH, or LA Girl. Those are amazing, and we're not talking about that right now. I'm talking about like Revlon, Maybelline, CoverGirl, you know, those kind of things. That I don't think measure up as highly as those luxury brands. And honestly, they are kind of expensive. Like I said earlier, when I was a teenager and shopping for makeup with my mom and, you know, going into Walgreens and wanting to kind of pick out some Revlon stuff and some other things, I don't remember them being this expensive. Now I look into Walgreens or CVS and a foundation is $15 to $20. Powders are $15. Eyeliners are like $12 to $15. I'm amazed by how expensive this stuff is. If you're a makeup artist, somehow if you can, get certified. If you can, not that you have to be a makeup artist. You absolutely do not have to get certified. But a lot of makeup companies offer major pro discounts when you get a certificate, and if they accept certification as proof of artistry. If you get that approval from them, you will save so much money. MAC offers 30 to 40% off of their product. So imagine a MAC foundation, you can get it for like $15, the same price as the Revlon Color Stay. I mean, it's pretty amazing if you can get that discount. So that's just one example of the million that I have. But I just want to be very, very clear and transparent with you. If you can just save up or get a pro card or something to get your hands on some really cool luxury product, do it. Especially when it comes to skincare, and especially when it comes to like priming. Well, actually the NYX primer is actually really, really good. I don't mind it at all. I'm not picky about that. But there are certain things that I wouldn't sacrifice. And you know, Anastasia Beverly Hills, for example, all her products, they're amazing. And I would hate to be like, oh, don't buy that, buy this cheaper one, and then you're not getting the same type of quality. I'd rather you work hard, save some money, and get the good stuff so you don't have to keep buying over and over again at drugstores and doing that whole like hit and miss type of thing, and then you end up wasting a lot more money because there's usually no testers at drugstores. So you have to kind of go in and buy until you get it right. So you know, definitely seek YouTube for more drugstore information because I don't have a whole lot. But based on the stuff that I used today, I was actually overall happy with her makeover. But like I said, it took me longer than normal to blend things and to make it perfect because I'm used to my stuff. So that's it. That's me being completely fair and honest with you guys. And now you can actually make up your own minds and your own decisions based on the stuff that I showed you, which I love. I'm not saying that I don't like them. They're actually all amazing stuff, but I did narrow down to 4 brands that I think are exceptional, amazing. And then other than that, I would stick with some of the trendier lines and the high-end lines, okay? So I'll see you next time on the next class. I have so many really amazing classes this month for you for the month of June. So check out the homepage so you can kind of plan ahead, and always check continuously on the homepage in case there's any schedule changes with my models and I. Sometimes it's hard to lock down a date and we have to swap some things around to make it work for everyone. So definitely check the homepage always before a class just to make sure that the class is still on the date that you thought it was, okay? Cool. I'll see you guys later. Mwah. Love you guys.